Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 197 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of May the 3rd through the 9th, 2021. My name's Tim Beeman.
My name's Ray Morgan.
And we're opening the recipe box. We are recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in the Less Desirable Studio South, what's also known as my house. We are practicing social distancing and using Zoom, sponsored by Bull's Tavern. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcatchers like Apple Podcast, Stitcher, or Spotify, we'd appreciate a like, a follow, and a rating, whatever they will allow you to do. We would appreciate it, and it would help us tremendously. And if you're listening to us on the Triad Podcast Network, welcome and thank you. I'm going to say this, that these are only opinions based on my experiences, as with any review that I post. I hope that you will visit the establishment and formulate your own opinions and views of the restaurants. No review is ever meant as a means to denigrate or belittle the good work most of the restaurants are trying to do. This is an opinion of what I did or didn't like, or how I saw things, and not a reflection of the overall quality, the vision, or the company. Pardon the pun, take all this with a grain of salt. Now, generally, I put that whenever I'm going to go off on a restaurant.
I know it. I was like, oh, it's coming. It's coming. Here comes the woodshed.
But that's not why I read that this week, and you'll find out why in just a little bit. This episode of The Man Who Ate the Town is brought to you by Mojito Latin Soul Food. Mojito Latin Soul Food is your go-to Cuban and Latin-inspired restaurant. The good news is now they are reopened in their dining room. They had takeout only before that because of staffing issues, and everyone has that. But they're back. Their Cuban sandwich, the Cubano, is hands down to me the best sandwich in town. All the flavors punch you in the tongue, and the sandwich is made in the tradition that Michael Mion grew up with. I took my son there Saturday, and he loved that Cubano. If anything, he wanted more mustard. He likes mustard. Mojito Latin Soul Food does reservations, takeout, and a rather large outdoor patio, and they do deliveries to the surrounding businesses like Fiddlin' Fish, Broad Branch, and Wise Man. And now that Bar Pena is back open, perhaps they will deliver there too. I meant to ask him about that this weekend, but it was his birthday on Saturday. So happy birthday from this Saturday to you, Michael Mion. And his wife, Michelle's, is coming up on the 12th. So we'll just, hopefully I can remember that. I meant to ask him about Bar Pena, but we were just dealing with the birthday. So check them out on Facebook and at MojitoLatinSoulFood.com. On my side of the list, like I said before, almost half the restaurants are advertising they are hiring for many, if not all, positions. And there is most definitely a drought for quality help right now.
It's good news if you're looking for work.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, everything, server wanted. We are now closed on Monday. Sorry we aren't open today. We are understaffed. I just want to reiterate that if you need a job and can do anything associated with restaurants and hospitality industry, there is a job out there waiting for you. You can't say you can't find work. You might not be able to find it for $16 an hour, but that unemployment will dry up soon.
Yeah.
Look up the restaurants in town. You'll find places that you love. You'll meet new people, all that stuff. I'm not going to try to sell you on the job. Get a job. Get your job now. Go to the restaurants. They're there. I shouldn't have to sell you on a job. You should already be looking. Curry and Noodle is now open in the Robin Hood Village Shopping Center in the space formerly occupied by Social Southern. I think I mentioned that a couple weeks back. They offer Indian, Thai, and Nepalese cuisine. I think Street Team Steven is most excited about that part. There seems to be a lack of Nepalese food around here in general, but especially in the ethnic food desert that is Winston-Salem. So They've not been open very long. I haven't been there. I can't report on that, but a picture or two that I've seen looked really good. So I hope to get out there. I'm sure Stephen will want to go there when we're not tackling a burger or 7. So, there is allegedly a new cookie and dessert shop called Crumble Cookie coming to the shopping center in front of Costco here in Winston. Crumble is a chain out of Logan, Utah that started back in 2017 and has remarkably, in just 4 years, grown to over 175 locations in 31 states.
Wow.
Started with 2 cousins who just wanted to do a cookie shop, and here we are. So that's pretty amazing, really. So I have street team Mackenzie Docus checking on that for me today, and I'll report back when I know something. She said she's being on that side of town, so we'll see what happens. Yep. Diamondback Grill is casual dining located in the heart of Buena Vista in Winston-Salem. It's a fantastic family-owned farm-to-fork restaurant that sources most of its ingredients from local farmers. Try one of their themed menu specials. Each day is a different theme. I do recommend highly that delicious Sloppy Joe. Or my favorite thing on that menu, hands down, is the lump crab hush puppies. And believe it or not, the salad with the filet on the top is fantastic as well. And the chopped, I don't eat beets, but Stephanie swears by the chopped beet salad. So try those things. Diamondback is located at 751 Avalon Road. Find them on the web at diamondbackgrill.com and on Facebook and Instagram. So I'm trying to think of how to talk about this delicately.
How about just say it?
There are a few Facebook groups that I am part of. They are food focused and food driven. But lately, this one page has become no better than the dumpster fires that are both Ardmore neighborhood restaurant and neighborhood page and the downtown Winston-Salem neighborhood page. Anywhere from a food quote unquote personality that spends more time talking about herself and the jobs that she has and is flaunting it in everyone's faces to people complaining about people complaining when people complain is driving me absolutely bonkers. The moderation on this page is completely out the window right now. Not that I think moderators should take stuff down, but it gets quite nasty. It's starting to become even as bad as the Fearless page, which I don't get to see the post because I'm a man. Fearless is just for women. But I understand, I hear it not just from my wife, but others, that it gets pretty nasty over there. On this page that I'm talking about, no one can say anything negative, no matter how honest the observation about any restaurant, without 15 to 20 people attempting to destroy the original poster because they are bashing their favorite restaurants. It's one thing to disagree. It's another to tell someone they are wrong because they have an opinion. The people that are social justice warriors for those restaurants could just say, I've never had a bad experience there, or sorry to hear that. Sometimes people do say that, but it's still followed by people taking what is just shy of personal shots at these original posters to validate the responders' stance on what they see as an attack of their favorite restaurant. My question is, where the hell is the discourse here? It should be a discussion forum, not a back and forth retaliation forum. Then there's the opposite view of that, the people who just jump right in and say, well, I was looking forward to trying it. I guess I'll never spend my money there. You're going to let one person's opinion get you to purposely take a hit out on on a restaurant's livelihood. Grow up. Even I have that policy of these are only opinions based on my experiences. As with any review that I post, I hope that you will visit the establishment and formulate your own opinions and views of the restaurant. No review is ever meant as a means to denigrate or belittle the good work most of the restaurants are trying to do. This is an opinion of what I did or didn't like or how I saw things and not a reflection of the overall quality or vision of the company. Pardon the pun. Take this all with a grain of salt. We all should follow that policy. Post on there if you had a bad time, if the experience was bad, if the food just wasn't what you thought it was. But don't, it's just more of that cancel culture that I have already said that I certainly do not support and do not agree with. Have your opinion. Also, if you like this restaurant and you don't like that someone didn't have a good time there, so what? It doesn't matter what you think about their experience. You can have an opinion about that, but mostly it should be, man, I'm sorry you had an experience like that. Every time I've been there, it's been great. Not, you're an idiot because I love this restaurant. Not that I've actually seen that, but it's been masked that way. Now,
well, it's out there.
It's out. Yeah, it's out there. I don't have a solution to this problem. I can say for everyone to settle down and consider what you say before you type it, but that would be moot. The Winston-Salem Eats page, especially, used to be a place for people to go find out about food and hospitality that they may not know about or ask for recommendations, and that is a whole other can of worms that I'm not going to open right now. And it's good when it does that. But being a place to line people up to throttle with virtual Rotten Tomatoes is ridiculous. So to everyone who does that, I say settle the hell down, grow up, mind your own damn business, and be respectful. I know that all that will go unheeded and unheard, but I just thought I'd throw it in. So my soapbox is now rolling itself back over into the corner.
My friend, there is a reason why I have effectively come off of Facebook. I post a devotional each morning.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I've got to go scroll through Facebook. I can just log in. Oh, here we go. Go straight to that. Record that. I'm done. I have my folks, my in-laws, my siblings all tagged so that they show up at the top of my feed. Just a couple of minutes, up there they all are. I've seen everything everybody's posted. Okay, click, done. I got so tired of all the hatred, the just
vitriol.
Sheer vitriol. Exactly. Just the animosity at each other. It's like, come on now. Would you really want to be that person if you were standing face to face?
You wouldn't be that person.
What makes it any difference?
You would not dare open your mouth to someone that way. Even there are a couple on there that I'm sure would, because I know them personally. But for the most part, you would say in person, what? That doesn't sound like that place. I was there 3 weeks ago and I had a great time.
Right. Well, I won't name the restaurant, but we went to a national chain place where I happen to have a family member who works there. So we had good service, but there were issues with the food.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't god awful, but there were issues. So when I posted a review, I included all the good stuff. You know, the server was really just tremendously nice. We met the general manager. He was a really pleasant person. Even our cashier was just very sweet. We had all of our interactions with the people were good, but it was kind of clear that the kitchen didn't care very much. They were just throwing stuff on plates, and it didn't matter if it sat up in the warmer for 20 minutes and developed a skin. Just take it out.
Right.
Well, it matters to me. That's not what I want.
Right.
But,
and the difference there is,
got to be balanced about it.
You know, playing devil's advocate, you don't know what they were going through in that kitchen. But also,
They may be short-staffed.
and
Exactly.
but also, that's not your business. You want what you paid for. So the question would be, and And the way you just put that would be the proper way of addressing it online. Here's all the good things that I liked. And here was the one thing that I didn't, or two things. But, again, these things were great. No, and what I was posting here, what I'm talking about here is mostly aimed at people who respond to it, but also people who originally post things can be more mindful too, instead of had the worst experience ever. Blah, 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 blah. I talked to and they said, we talked to the manager and they didn't do anything about it. Well, the customer is always right is a misnomer, because they're not. And
Yes.
when someone is spending their money there, they believe that they're entitled to everything perfect the way they want it. This is not Burger King.
Can I tell you something? Can I give you a short, for instance, that occurred this weekend?
Sure.
My daughter is that sweet server who works for one of these national chains.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes into work yesterday. She was assigned 3 tables. That's her section. One of them was an 8 top. They sat a woman and her daughter at the 8 top. It was fine. She didn't mind that. This woman nitpicked every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kept trying to create drama so the managers would give her one of her dishes for free. It was so clear that she was trying to game the system. She sat there for 2 hours and left my daughter a $2 tip.
Mm-hmm.
That was an 8 top. If she'd had a family or 2 that came in that 2 hours, that could have been $20, $30, $40 in her pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how big the meal went and how nice they were with the tips and how good she was with the service, quite frankly. But this woman went in there and gamed it and just tanked my daughter's night.
Yeah.
That kind of negativity, that kind of selfishness is the same thing that's driving what you're seeing on Facebook. And that's generally when we're in polite company, when we're together, that kind of behavior we say is completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
We understand some people can be self-centered, but come on now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
We have to have a civil society. The only way that our society is civil is if we are actually civil.
so let's say that person that you were talking about had their own business. If someone came in that business, it doesn't be a restaurant, it could be anything. Someone's just loitering around, not buying anything, asking a lot of questions about, what about these? What about this? What about that? That same person would be the one complaining the thing is we need to be mindful of how we're treating people,
Mm-hmm.
because we can only control that part. We can't control how people treat us. But you also don't have to put someone else in a position where they don't want to help you because you're an asshole. So I don't know. I'm not saying that the person who wrote the thing went to this restaurant, it was an awful experience, and the management didn't want to do anything to help me. Well, you're probably tinting your side of the story to skew it your way, first of all, because we all do that. Every one of us does that.
This woman who stiffed my daughter
Yeah.
complained that the roast beef had a pink center. That's how roast beef comes.
Yeah.
That's the way it always
Yeah.
comes.
This is probably the same person that would take prime rib and want it well done.
Yes. So you really, truthfully, to your point, you have to understand what really happened. Because there's he said, she said, and then somewhere else is a truth.
Yeah. So the whole thing is the golden rule is in effect here, right? Treat others as you want to be treated. You even take it more plain than that and just say, stop being a dick, you know, and you won't be treated like one. Now, again, the one who is posting and went to the restaurant thinks that we don't know what your side of the story truly is. We hear what you're saying. We don't know because we didn't hear from the restaurant other than we're sorry this happened to you afterwards, which could be a reaction more than a result. And so the point there is we don't know all this. And both, not the restaurant, because, you know, they have to try to, you know, customer service however they can, but stop trying to glaze things over to make you look good and how wronged you were. Say, okay, here's what I had. And I talked to them about it and something here, but don't go after the, you know, had the worst experience because they didn't want to do anything to help me. Well, you don't know that they couldn't do anything to help you. The woman who your daughter was helping, there was no helping her. She was out. She was out to get something for free.
Yeah,
and
pushing hard.
Yeah, and this person didn't sound like they were trying to do that. But anyway, just be mindful of how you're treating others, and then how you talk shit about another company, because that sets off the people who don't know how to make decisions for themselves to decide, oh, okay, well, I'm certainly not going there because you had a bad experience. No matter the other 14 people who posted talked about how much they loved it, right? And some of them are people who, because I know a lot of those people that know them and, you know, are taking up for their friends. They don't need that either. You know, the restaurant should be able to take up for itself. It doesn't need everybody else to do it.
There's a rule of thumb in social media marketing that if you got no negative reviews whatsoever, people tend to question,
right,
how is it possible that they don't have any negative reviews?
Right.
But what you're looking for is it overwhelmingly positive?
Yeah.
So I see one negative, but I see 50 positive. Oh, okay. Well, you know, everybody has an off night. And truthfully, everybody does.
Right.
So,
but that's you. And you are a rational thinker.
Thank you for saying that. Would you say that to my mom?
You can pay me later. But again, a lot of these people on social media, and because it's what triggers, right? You can have 15 positive reviews and no one pays attention. You have one negative review and the people lose their mind.
Hog pile.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, you do one good deed and it goes unnoticed. You mess up a little bit of something and people never forget it. So for all that, just pay attention to take all of it in,
yeah,
and surmise a consensus more than just oh no, I'm not going there. This person who I've never met before said that the management didn't do anything, which we don't know that the management didn't try to bend over backwards and it didn't get fixed because this person wasn't looking for it to get fixed. Not saying that is the case, not saying it isn't, because I don't know. And you know what? There. You don't know either. So
we didn't watch it happen.
That's right.
We have not heard from all parties concerned. We know what one person said.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Again, try to be, you know, just a little rational. I mean, yeah. I understand there needs to be crazy in life too. I mean, Seal said it, didn't he?
Yeah.
We're ever going to survive, we got to be a little crazy.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so I'm done with that. I just wanted to rant a little bit. That, and I didn't have a whole lot of other things to talk about.
Everybody, you feel better?
I do kind of. I do, and then part of me is even more upset now because people are stupid. Some of them, and the ones that are not stupid are far the minority under the stupidity. and it's growing. It's like a virus in itself.
What you're asking for is what we've always just called the golden rule.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you treat people well, for crying out loud, because you know you want to be treated well.
Right.
And we tend to get what we put out. There's some that are going to make sure that that doesn't always happen, but if you tend to be a good person and you're kind to others, you tend to be treated the same way.
You're right. Keep that in mind. Words from the well-spoken stained pastor right there. So
Like it, Vermont.
you're welcome. Carrabba's Italian Grill, located at 587 South Stratford Road. This is no chain. This is a responsible family of restaurants. Carrabba's and their owner partners take the communities they serve very seriously. And for us, having a proprietario like Daniel Butner certainly does not suck. I was looking at their website earlier today, and they are focusing on their spring features, which includes the salmon saporito, which is wood-grilled, seasoned, and salmon topped with jumbo lump crab meat, lemon butter, diced tomatoes, and spinach and basil. Because these are spring, summer things, you know, they're going to be bright and fresh. This also has broccoli on the side of this, and all those flavors. The colors are bursting. The flavors, I'm absolutely positive, are bursting. It's just a fabulous thing to see. And then you have the chicken brine, which is always fantastic because the goat cheese and sun-dried tomatoes and basil and their lemon butter sauce on top of that. The mezzaluna, which is half moon ravioli with chicken, ricotta, parmesan, romano cheese, and spinach in their tomato cream sauce.
You know, the other thing about all that spring special that does sound so good,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to get it all.
Right. I mean, you get some of the mezzaluna, I think, is always on the menu, and the chicken brine's always in the menu. I don't know about the salmon saporito, but you know, don't take that chance. Go check them out. Follow Carrabba's on social media and carrabbas.com. So next week, promise, we're going to talk about the Country Spinner. I know I said last week that we were going to, but I didn't have time to do any cooking this week because I spent all my usual free time, including yesterday, from noon until I got home at almost 11 p.m. Doing PA announcements for the NCAA soccer tournaments in Greensboro.
The taco tournament.
I wish there was taco. You know, I had some. We were given free food, and some of it I couldn't eat because, you know, I've said in the past I hate chicken. So there was a lot of free, not open on Sunday chicken, and not that being not open on Sunday constitutes hate chicken. It's other actions that does. I'm just trying to give away without saying the name. And there was another one called Pita Delight, which I don't know what. I've never had that, but it was decent. I actually
they have a restaurant over in Greensboro.
Well, there's 3 or 4 of them over there, from what I understand. Yeah. I didn't mind that. I didn't like the fajita pita. Oh, that rhymed until I said it as much, but I really liked the roast beef one. That was really, really good. So otherwise, I just ate a lot of potato chips and corn chips and stuff because that was also free, and I wouldn't eat the other thing. So, the Sunday I took, and just in case, because I buy the Shackley meal replacement bars, I took a couple because I was going to be there all day, and I just knew. But then I wasn't thinking, hey, that place is not open on Sundays. So, it was Jersey Mike's one day, which okay, I'll eat that, and that was okay. And then the Pita Delight last night. So, but just in case, I took that. The point being, I did not get to cook the other thing on the country spinner, so I'll wait and talk about that next week because I do plan on cooking this weekend. So that
Just
being
keep
said,
waiting.
yeah, that's right. So let's talk burgers then. Burger
Something
Tour
else that we're still
21.
waiting on.
Yeah, it is well underway. We're still only up to 96, I think. I'm not adding anything.
Ooh.
I had burgers from the final big burger spot in Greensboro on Battleground, which is not far from where I was working, so I was able to go there first day after I found the place. I finally had an official burger from Dario, and I had the Mojito burger from Mojito. Again, I had an unofficial burger from Mr. Barbecue and Papa Lee's Grill. So, and what counts as official and unofficial? Papa Lee's is new. They opened the same day as Mr. Barbecue. Mr. Barbecue, the only reason I'm waiting is because Steven and I want to wait until they are open to go eat inside and not get takeaway. Although we could get it through the drive-thru window and sit outside because they have the seating outside. We could have done that, but we haven't. And Papa Lee's is just waiting for them to get their legs underneath them, you know. So I think
That's
they're
fair.
close. I have enjoyed the last 2 or 3 that I've had there, so I think I'm almost ready to rate them. And if I go in and I rate one that, if I get one that is officially getting ready to be rated and I realize it wasn't as good as the one before, I might go ahead and count the one before. I'm hoping that the next one I go in for is good. So, again, still getting their legs, still getting stuff straightened out, but you'll just stay tuned. I'll be back with it soon. The food holidays are sponsored by Washington Perk and Provision Company, located 301 West 4th Street. You'll find a little bit of everything at the Perk: chip corner, a deli to get your sandwich on the go, local fruits, veggies, meats, and dairy, Bingo Bango sodas, Wolfie's custard, a wall of beer and wine, and more. Washington Perk is better than a convenience store, not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they are Washington Perk, or at Washington Perk _DTWS on Instagram. Today is the 3rd of May. It is National Raspberry Popover Day.
Sounds good.
But not as good to you probably as National Chocolate Custard Day.
You're right. As good as a raspberry popover would be,
Yeah.
chocolate custard has to win.
It's also World Press Freedom Day. Started almost 30 years ago. The historic connection made between the freedom to seek, impart, and receive information and the public good remains as relevant as it was at the time of its signing. If only it were used always for good and not to spread misinformation, it would be better. But it is World Press Freedom Day today. On the 3rd, in 1494, Christopher Columbus sighted the island of Jamaica. On the 3rd, in 1654, a bridge in Raleigh, Massachusetts began charging a toll for animals. People, however, passed for free. So what happened if a goat came through and it didn't have exact change?
That's stuck, then you can't go through.
Sorry, you can't go through. What? You can't go through. I don't have any change. Damn. And turns
All right,
around,
give me
has to
some
go back the
cheese.
other way. Yeah, give me some cheese or milk. In 1831, on the 3rd, William Manning of Plainfield, New Jersey, received a patent for a reaper for harvesting hay and grain. It was designed by his wife, actually, and Hamed Manning.
Interesting.
In
Like he had a patent for death? What? Yeah. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Not that kind of reaper.
Yeah, not that kind of reaper. In 1921, on the 3rd, West Virginia became the first state to enact a state sales tax. It became effective in July of that year. In 1929, the original Waldorf Astoria Hotel was closed and soon demolished. It had been sold to make way for the construction of...
I have no idea.
the Empire State Building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we know where they got that idea.
Yes. Yes, we do. The Reynolds Building here in Winston.
Mm-hmm.
In 1947, on the 3rd, Sylvester tried to have Tweety Bird for lunch for the first time ever in a Warner Brothers cartoon.
It's cool that we know that date.
Yes. So now, today is Sylvester's birthday. I guess it would have to be Tweety Pie birthday as well.
It would have to be.
Yeah. I don't think that Tweety Pie was around before Sylvester was. But was
No, I don't
Granny
think so.
around before Tweety Pie and Sylvester? Don't
Granny
know.
might have been. I don't know.
I don't know either. Have to do some research.
We
on
need
that.
to
Where's I-Team when
expert.
we need?
in animation history.
Yeah. We need an I-Team. In 2007, Jameson Stone, an 11-year-old, bagged a wild hog that weighed in over 1,050 pounds. He was on a hunting trip with his dad in a commercial hunting preserve and several guides in eastern Alabama. The animal measured 9 feet 4 inches long, nose to tail.
Wow. That is one big hog.
Yeah, it is. That's a huge bitch.
Yeah.
In 2020, coronavirus update, some stores are limiting purchases of beef, chicken, and pork. We'll hear more about that as we go on. On the 4th, it's National Orange Juice Day.
It's also May the 4th.
And that's right, Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And when you crush the oranges for the juice, it's also National Candied Orange Peel Day. So, there you go.
I've never tried to make that.
I hadn't either, but I bet it's good. You know, I like marmalade. Marmalade's basically the zest of oranges.
Yeah. I love marmalade. You're right, though. I don't want it like elsewhere,
Yeah.
but, put it in the right.
Well, but
In the
do
right,
you
format,
use orange, lemon, or lime zest on your food?
From time to time, yes, when the recipe calls for it.
So as
I
long
just
as
don't
you
like to go just like eat it.
Oh, no.
But just a little bit, yeah. It does add just a depth of flavor you don't get otherwise.
Yeah, so if you don't go down to the white pithy part, that's the part that's bitter. But if you use just the outside, it'll be good. Another dumb holiday we have today is International Respect for Chickens Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the animal I want to have respect for.
Yeah, they're celebrating chickens in protest their suffering and abuse and cockfighting, agribusiness, experimental research, and so on. Now, do I want to see cockfighting? No.
No,
Do I want to see them just treated horribly? No.
no.
But I want to eat them, and
Yes.
I'm not going to protest over how somebody kills them for me to eat. I don't care. I don't care how the sausage is made. I just want to eat it. So, whatever. I just want to eat it. Sorry if that's insensitive. I just don't care. So, on the 4th, May the 4th be with you, the day after he sighted it, Columbus landed in Jamaica and met the Arawak Indians. The Arawak used Jamaican pimento, which is also allspice, to season and smoke meat, usually pigs. The foundation of this, upon which Jamaican jerk developed. I love me some Jamaican jerk food.
Oh yeah. It's it's one of those unique profiles. I love it.
Yep. It can be hot, but it doesn't have to be. It can just be good spice. On the 4th, in 1626, Dutch explorer Peter Minuit landed on what is now Manhattan Island in New York City. In 1942, on the 4th, wartime food rationing began in the United States. In 2012, something I wish we would do, Canada stops production of its penny. The coins are withdrawn from circulation the following February.
Yeah, the penny really doesn't serve us anymore.
No. The 5th is Cinco de Mayo, which is not Mexican Independence Day. Cinco de Mayo is observed to commemorate the Mexican Army's victory over the French Empire at the Battle of Puebla on May 5th, 1862, under the leadership of General Ignacio Zaragoza. And it's also an
Still a
excuse
big
to
deal.
drink Corona, Tecate, Pacifico, Dos Equis, and any other real or pseudo-Mexican beers. Also, a reason, you need a reason to have tacos.
Right.
You never need a reason. You don't need a holiday to have tacos. Tacos are good every day.
Tacos are best on days that end with day.
Yes. All of those.
Mm-hmm. I've tested that myself on each one of those days independently.
Is there one day
Respectively.
that goes better than the others?
Yes. Yes, there actually is one day of the week that goes better with tacos than all the other days.
Today?
Today, yes. Exactly. Today. In fact, I'm making some... I've got chicken in the crock pot right now with taco seasoning that we're going to use for dinner.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. On the 5th in 1809, Mary Keyes of South Killingly, Connecticut, received a patent for a technique for weaving straw with silk and thread, the first woman to receive a United States patent. That's good. A little late, but good. In 1936, so let me back up. When was that? Okay, so that was before William Manning patented the Reaper that his wife did. So she could have had her own, but I guess she just didn't. So he did it instead. In 1936, a patent was granted to Edward Ravenscroft of Glencoe, Illinois, for the first bottle with a screw cap and a pouring lip.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. In 1961, Jim Gardner and Leonard Rowell opened the first franchised Hardee's fast food restaurant in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. On the 5th, not this day, on 5th in 1978, Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield opened Ben and Jerry's
Ben and
homemade
Jerry.
ice cream and crepes in a former Burlington, Vermont gas station. Their business will grow to compete with Haagen-Dazs. The difference is one of those really means something, that's Ben and Jerry's, and Haagen-Dazs does not. It was just something that made up that sounded exotic
Yeah.
and Dutch or Danish. That's why.
Yeah,
they
we
did
call
it.
it Haagen-Dazs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In 20
Ben & Jerry's is my favorite of all the ice creams. It's as much about the attitude as it is anything else.
and you know they're total potheads.
Yeah.
They have to be total potheads.
This really tastes good. I bet people would like this.
Far out, man.
New York Super Fudge Chunk.
Just need some
Yes.
tasty waves and my ice cream that I just made up. Sure.
It's swirly, man.
Sure. On the 5th in 2020, the number of U.S. restaurants and bars closing permanently slowly but steadily increases.
Yeah.
On the 6th of May, it's National Beverage Day. No beverage is specified, so take that for what you will. At this very moment, I'm drinking water, but hopefully we'll switch to something else because I didn't have alcohol all weekend because I was working.
You were working your butt off. People that have never done something like that have no idea how exhausting it is to speak that much.
And have to pay so much attention to what's going on and listen while you have play-by-play and color commentator here to your right yelling at each other, not in a bad way, but, you know, calling the game. Yeah. You have the TV producer to my left who is whispering but still talking to his camera folk, and me trying to listen to a walkie-talkie that is like that, and then trying to pay attention to what's going on in the field so you can call it if it happens. And here's the kicker: you don't know jack about college soccer. The learning curve and thrown into the deep end all at once, that was rough. But it was so much fun, and I would sign up again immediately.
I had a chance to do an NCAA swimming tournament in Greensboro at the Aquatic Center several years ago. We had about 1,800 swimmers from all over the Southeast. We had some Olympic hopefuls that were there trying to get a better time. Mm-hmm. I mean, this was a big deal. In fact, one of the guys there said, the next level up is where all the TV cameras come in for swimming. Mm-hmm. So you were already at that next level where they had the TV cameras coming in. But yeah, I was there for like 3 days. Same thing, kind of, you know, all day long. And you get home and you're just like, I don't want to think. I don't want to move. Yeah. I don't want to exist for a few hours.
And I don't want to talk. I mean, it's everything I can do right now just to push words out of my face. My throat is still raw, and I drink a lot of water, but still, and right
it's
now. It's
not the same. Mm-mm. That kind of announcing, I mean, you're at full voice.
Full voice from the diaphragm down.
Yeah. And, you know, when it's just you and the BCPF sitting around, you're not full voice. You could almost whisper, and it's just fine.
Yep.
So yeah, I feel you, man.
So yes, National Beverage Day on the 6th. And on the 6th, it's also National Crêpe Suzette Day, which is a French concoction of a crepe that is doused in orange liqueur, most likely Grand Marnier, and then lit on fire. And when the flambe goes down, then you eat it. Quick story about Crêpe Suzette. When we were in Paris, it was actually Crêpe Suzette started in Monte Carlo, which is Monaco, but still very much French. And we were at the Restaurant de Opera, and we ordered the Crêpe Suzette. After the owner was the one waiting on us, we sat outside. She would not even take our order for dessert until Stephanie finished the last 3 fries on her plate. No, you still have 3 more. You go. And she would come in. We're like, well, no, really, so I ate the last 3 fries. And so we ordered the Crêpe Suzette. She brought it out, put it on the thing. And again, we're outside using a Bic lighter. She couldn't get the thing lit because, it was outside, the wind blowing. So finally she just says, here it is. So if you've ever had Crêpe Suzettes when it's been flambéed, you know, the majority of the alcohol is not burnt off, but it's dissipated.
Yeah.
When you just have it covered in Grand Marnier, and we know that Grand Marnier is my absolute favorite liqueur, my favorite alcohol. Well, my favorite alcohol is alcohol, but my favorite flavor would be Grand Marnier. And even when I bit into this, was like, I loved it.
It's a little intense.
I loved it, but it was intense. Exactly right.
It's like just eating all the zest, right?
Right. You know how much was left on that plate afterwards, though?
None.
Not a damn bit. That's exactly right.
I'm picturing you licking that plate clean.
Yeah. There was none more left, if we can say it that way. The 6th is also International No Diet Day, which is good for those who are going to have a beverage and a crepe Suzette, especially when you have it in its rawest form.
Unless it's a seafood diet.
That's true. True. On the 6th, in 1833, John Deere developed his first steel plow. Thought it was earlier than that, but it wasn't.
Hey, baby, you want to see my steel plow?
Why, John Deere, you naughty deer. In 1851, on the 6th, John Gorey patented an ice-making machine, the first U.S. patent for a mechanical refrigerator. In 1889, the World's Fair Exposition Universelle opened in Paris, France. The main symbol and entrance was the newly constructed Tour de l'Eiffel, which is French for Eiffel Tower. In 1929, speaking of Paris, the famous Parisian restaurant La Tour d'Argent served its 100,000th signature dish, the Canneton Tour d'Argent, which is pressed duck. Founded in 1582, the restaurant introduced the signature dish in 1890 and numbered every duck served. The 1,000,000th duck was served in 2003. I would like to know where they are now.
Wow, they've numbered every duck.
Yeah.
And they've been around since the 1500s.
Yeah. They didn't start that until 1890, but still. Yeah. In 1988, we had Donut Gate. After an NHL playoff game, New Jersey Devils coach Jim Schoenfeld was suspended for telling a referee named Don Koharski to eat another donut, you fat pig.
Oh! Yeah, that's a little cold.
Yeah. I just think it's funny that he said it and then that he got suspended for it. In 1994, Queen Elizabeth II and French President Francois Mitterrand formally opened the Channel Tunnel between France and Britain. It was the first land link between Britain and Europe. 20 years later, in 2014, Stephanie and I rode through that tunnel on our honeymoon.
Still an amazing feat of engineering.
Yes. In 2020, more stores are limiting meat purchases. Where's the beef? Because Wendy's restaurants have taken burgers off their menu for a brief time at this point.
Wow.
Last year. No, the 7th of May. Damn, Tim, get your stuff straight. It's National Roast Leg of Lamb Day. It's School Lunch Hero Day. The day aims to showcase how school nutrition professionals make a difference for every child who comes to the cafeteria. Or do they? School cafeteria food is not known to be the most nutritional, or at least most flavorful. Maybe it's a little more nutritional than flavorful.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
It is possible.
Yeah.
It is possible to, create large amounts of food for people and still be good for them.
Oh yeah, the quantity of it, but it's just everything's from damn cans, man. It's just I just can't. I used to when my son was in school, especially in elementary school, I would go through the line and actually eat with him. It only took me about 2 weeks of that before I just started bringing him lunch.
Yeah, I can appreciate why.
Yeah. And the 7th is also National Homebrew Day. It was a congressional designation in 1988. And remember, the first Saturday in May is always Homebrew Day. This is National Homebrew Day, which is a congressional, again, designation. So, On the 7th, in 1657, King Louis XIV of France prohibits the sale of liquor to Indians in New France, which is now known as Canada. In 1847, the American Medical Association was founded in Philadelphia. On the 8th, the Letter Carriers Food Drive since 1993. It has always been the second Saturday in May. Letter carriers across the nation can collect non-perishable food items left by mailboxes. Not left by the mailboxes themselves, but left by the people whose mailboxes they are, and deliver them to local food banks. But that has been suspended due to coronavirus, and no makeup days have been announced yet. The 8th is also World Fair Trade Day, which is always the second Saturday in May, a day to promote fair trade as a tangible contribution to the fight against poverty, climate change, and the economic crisis that has the greatest impact on the world's most vulnerable populations. It's also National Coconut Cream Pie Day and Have a Coke Day, because in 1886, on the 8th of May, Coca-Cola was first sold to the public at Jacobs Pharmacy in Atlanta, Georgia.
Cool.
In 1914, on the 8th, U.S. Congress passed a law designated the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day. Here's a spoiler for you. This Sunday is Mother's Day.
What? What? I've only
What?
got 6 days left to get a Mother's Day gift. Oh my goodness.
President Wilson issued the requested proclamation on May 9th. On the 8th in 1980, the World Health Organization declared that smallpox had been eradicated, other than those people, assholes who keep them in a petri dish in laboratories. On the 8th in 2020, 3.17 million new unemployment claims, bringing a 7-week total to more than 33 million people on unemployment. On the 9th, this Sunday, it is Mother's Day.
Yep.
Also National Butterscotch Brownie Day,
That sounds good.
National Moscato Wine Day. And everybody, sometimes turns their nose up to Moscato wine, but, Muscat in Italian is one of the oldest known grape varieties. So they've been used for a long, long time. On the 9th, in 1785, the beer pump handle was patented by Joseph Bramah, and keg parties have never been the same.
I was about to say. They're still being used today on many college campuses.
Mm-hmm. The first self-storage coin-operated laundrette in Britain opened in Queensway, London in 1949 on the 9th. In 2016, on the 9th, President Obama signed the National Bison Legacy Act, declaring the North American bison as the official national mammal of the United States. In 29,
everybody's got to get in on the action. Okay, so now we got the favorite mammal. We have our favorite lizard. Sorry.
Yeah. In 2019, in Australia, the University of Canberra's library was evacuated due to a suspected gas leak. The odor turned out to be from a durian fruit. Durian is a big, green, thorny fruit native to Malaysia and Indonesia. In fact, it is considered the king of the fruit throughout Southeast Asia. It has a creamy texture, and the taste of its flesh sends its eaters into ecstasies, and it has a reputation of being aphrodisiac. But it has one drawback. It has an extremely offensive odor, described as garlic-like, similar to stinky feet, and like Limburger cheese. Some countries even ban the presence of durian in hotels and on public transportation due to its offensive smell.
I'd like some more of that, please.
Yeah. Also in 2019, Mexico City announced a ban on plastic bags, straws, utensils, and other disposable plastic items. The ban took effect at the end of 2020. Speaking of 2020, on the 9th, coronavirus update. Industry experts say challenges in the meat supply chain will linger as workers continue to get sick from the coronavirus as they work side by side. In addition to individual restaurants closing permanently, numerous small and regional restaurant chains are filing for bankruptcy. Others are closing permanently. That's your food, holidays, and history for this week. Special thanks to James Ehler at foodreference.com for making us chuckle, roll our eyes, worry about someone near us having durian fruit, getting
Or
Ray.
do they just really need to wash their feet?
Yeah, getting Ray excited for National Raspberry Popover Day and National Chocolate Custard Day, and
Do them together.
all that good stuff. Yeah, I'll do it. Why not do it together? You can have dessert with your dessert.
You know, a multi-course dessert. Why not?
Right on. The Man Who Waits to Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables podcast network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables, the Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Beeswax, Vinyl, and More, Wheeler's Dog, and Asylum Tales from the Devereaux Diaries podcast. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. You'll also find social media links for all of them there as well. This is a reminder for our listeners, and it's good practice, not just now, but for always. And I said this many times. I didn't say it like this, but I said it during the NCAA things about being clean and mindful. Wash your damn hands. Wash with warm water and soap. Wash with that soap for 20 seconds or more. If you don't know how long 20 seconds is, this is a good reference.
Wow, I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't. I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't. So good, so good. I got you. Wow, I feel nice. A sugar and spice. I feel nice.
So today would have been the 88th birthday of the number one, or soul brother number one, the godfather of soul, James Brown. So happy would-be birthday to you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Changed the face of popular music.
Yep.
And we can certainly see his influence in artists since.
Yeah, and of all genres.
Right.
It transcends the soul category because that was rock and roll. It wasn't soul music, it was rock and roll.
Yeah.
So I really wish that we could do away with genre, or let's say genre gentrification, I guess, of music, and go back to where music was music.
Yeah.
Think
good
of the
music, and then there's bad music. So good music is
right
across all genres.
Well, think of the 70s, for those of you who are alive. In the 70s, and FM radio was a brand new thing, a big thing. And you would have James Brown followed by Kiss, or Led Zeppelin followed by Willie Nelson, followed by the Eagles, followed by whatever.
My grandmother, I was just the other day, I heard Nights in White Satin from the Moody Blues. Hadn't heard that in a few years.
Yeah.
But I remember listening to the country radio station that my grandmother listened to, and they played that song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good music should just be good music.
Right on. Well, keep an eye on my blog and this podcast to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send an email to Tim or Ray or Leah. I believe she's still part of this at themanwhowaitstotown.com. You can also contact us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter Instant Messengers. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are manwho8thetown. On Instagram, we are manwho8thetown. And we also invite you to leave a voicemail for the podcast or any podcast on the network. You can call 336-422-6862. That's right, 336-422. No.
I got a number. I can't know it's a number right now.
You can leave a text on there too, but we'd prefer you call and talk to us.
Yeah.
336-422-NUM-6862. Well, my name is Tim,
My name's Ray.
and we are closing this loud ass recipe box. Until next time, thank you for reading.
size of that thing.
I know this is like a recipe trunk, recipe dumpster.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
So until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit. Yamas. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the man who ate the town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.